And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
This is your RBLR Rays podcast. I'm your host, Zach Dobb, along with my co-host, Pat Davenport. Pat, how you feeling?
I was feeling better before Alejandro Kirk just hit a 2-run double, making it 5-0 to the Blue Jays just now. It's fine. We're doing fine. This is a positive episode. We've had a good week. We came back from 4 runs down yesterday. We can come back from 5 runs down today. It's fine.
Easily.
It's fine. Three innings to score 5 runs. I've seen it done.
Yes, absolutely. And we've seen the Rays come back just this week, and we've seen them come back on the road, which has been an exciting week of Rays baseball because we are winning on the road. And not just winning on the road, winning 2 series. Regardless of the outcome of today's game, the Rays have won 2 series on the road. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about where the Rays stand in the playoff picture, and the roster picture is going to take shape again on potentially as soon as tomorrow. We've got all that on deck for you, and hopefully, maybe during this episode, the Rays will sweep the Blue Jays. Maybe we'll see. Who knows? If you're watching us out there on YouTube, do us a favor and hit subscribe. Hit the like button as well. Kind of just lets us know that you like what we're doing. Really appreciate you. If this is your first time watching us, thank you for being here for the first time. Just stick around and see what you think. And if you're on Spotify, follow us, drop a rating there. And wherever you're from, just share us around. We're always glad to have you wherever you're from. And we hope you enjoy. And we've got a fun series to talk about. Fun week of series to talk about. We finished up the end of last week-ish with a series loss to the Yankees, which is unfortunate. Kind of a tough way to end that series. You have any kind of other wrap-up thoughts from the Yankees series?
I mean, we were never out of any of those games. I know we lost 2 out of 3, but we were like in the mix. And the Yankees are playing really good baseball. It was tough to lose the series at home, but it's never like we felt like we were outclassed by a really, really good Yankees team that's playing some really good baseball. You would have wanted to have maybe taken that series in an ideal world, but I wasn't too concerned. It wasn't really a needle mover for me either way. What about yourself?
Yeah, I think when you look at the last game of that series, the person who was pitching in that game that gave up the 6 runs, despite how good he pitched later in the week, was not a guy who's going to be pitching playoff innings for the Rays. Just not going to happen. At least not that many. I mean, he may pitch some playoff innings, but he's not pitching 6 or 7, which is what he pitched against the Yankees. That's not going to happen. So that kind of reframes it a little bit. It was a very uncharacteristic game because then you had Armstrong coming in after we battled back, giving up 3 more runs. That's not something he has done in any kind of consistent way. He's been very good for the Rays this season. So I kind of look at it as an uncharacteristic loss. It felt like one of those, the 60 you're going to lose. That's what it felt like to me. It just kind of was what it was. And I would have loved to win the series. And you make a really good point about the Rays being in every single game, especially those first 2. Like we won one of them, and the first game was an 0-2 loss. So we were in that game as well. Just a bloop and a blast changed the outcome of that one. And we had our chances in that game, even into the last inning. So, and even in this game, the last game of the Yankee series, we were still in it. And so while it was unfortunate to lose it, you make a really good point about us being in it all the way. As we look at the playoff picture later in the episode, I think when we look at all those teams, there's nobody that I'm like super scared of because I think we can play competitively with every single team on that list. Moving on into the week, we get into some of the positive stuff, and that is a 4-game series against the Red Sox on the road in Boston that the Rays win 3-1. What are your thoughts on that series?
Absolutely thrilled with that. The Red Sox were actually above us in the standings when we started that series, and we leaped them over, and we're like, see you later, Red Sox. Objects in the rear view closer than they appear. I thought we played great baseball all the way through. None of those wins were comfy wins, as I like to say, but we showed that grit that this Rays team has been really good at showing. When they win, they're really good at winning tight ball games, whether it's coming back late, being scrappy with the offense, just stringing together good ABs against bullpens, which is really hard to do, by the way. And then also just when push comes to shove, the bullpen has been getting it done in all of these close games, particularly in that Red Sox series. I was absolutely thrilled with how they did then and did just enough to get the job done. Jason Adam was fantastic. Garrett Clevenger's been fantastic. It's been a full effort from the arms, and even the one we lost was, an extra inning affair where you just kind of shrug your shoulders and go, it happens. We could have swept a 4-game series there.
Yes.
So I'm feeling really, really good about that Red Sox series, because they're a team that's, like we said a couple weeks ago, didn't feel sustainably good. But their pitching has been really good. And the fact that we were able to overcome a really strong pitching Red Sox side coming into that series makes you feel good about the offense as well. And then, like I said, the bullpen makes you feel good about them. Do you remember, like, 3 weeks ago when we were going, the bullpen, and we were like, hey, they'll sort themselves out. We see this every year where the bullpen get a bit of a blip, but they'll sort themselves out. Look, they have.
And it's the reason why we're always so confident in that is because, as we say, year after year, we have seen these blips. We have seen these a couple of week periods where maybe they're off their rocker just a little bit, but we always see them come back to form. We see them stop walking guys, which is what we said from the beginning was not a hallmark of a Rays bullpen. It's not something we expected as a potential weakness from the Rays bullpen. We knew they would get back to that. They have. They've stopped walking guys, and they're starting to get back to more efficient baseball when it comes to just being just the bullpen. And we've seen the results. Just in the last week, they have pitched a lot of innings, and yet the results have been really, really good. Most of the runs that have been given up over the past week were given up by the starting rotation. There was a couple games where bullpen got hit a little bit, but for the most part, the bullpen has been holding up. And even guys in the bullpen that maybe we didn't expect to get as many innings as they have, guys like Erasmo have come in and pitched really well. Guys like Rodriguez, who, even though he just gave up a 2-run double, we're not going to talk about that, he's been overall pretty good, and we didn't expect to be relying on him this early in the season, and yet we have had to, and here we are. They're getting good results anyway. And I always say, if you can win a 4-game series, that's really impressive. It is hard. It just seems to always find a way to split that. To win a 4-game series on the road is really, really good. And it's a good sign of the way this team is starting to play complementary baseball, which is what we've been waiting on all year. I've been talking about it for the last week, and we're going to keep talking about it because they keep doing it. The more that complementary baseball that they play, that is what this team can do so well, and how this team can beat you in so many ways. Because when they're playing complementary baseball, they can suppress runs from the starting pitching and from the bullpen. And the starting pitching is not even in its final form yet, not even close. And the bullpen, once some of those guys that are in the starting rotation now are going to move to the bullpen, which they will then be really, really high quality bullpen arms. And then you're going to see even a higher performing starting pitching and a higher performing bullpen, and then you get some more that opportunistic hitting from the offense, which is going to get bolstered even more on potentially as soon as tomorrow. This team is going to, as long as they continue to play complementary baseball, this team is going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Something great about the bullpen that I wanted to bring up was in the month of April, they had the 3rd worst bullpen ERA in baseball. They had like a 4.52 ERA in the month of April, which is not great. But they have now lowered it since May 1st to 3.82. That's 0.7 less runs a game, which that's the difference when you're winning all of your games 7-6 or 5-4. That's the difference. That's where the wins come from, is if you can shave off a run a game. That makes such a difference when you're playing so many close games like the Rays are. And it's almost weird how, when you look at the Rays and all the teams around them with a similar record, they've all got positive run differentials, but then the Rays are sitting there on the -26 run differential, but with a better record than the +19 Detroit Tigers, the +20 Boston Red Sox. It's really strange how that's worked out, but that's because they're having to grit out so many close games, and that is a talent. That was the difference between the Padres not making the playoffs last year. Being able to have that mentality to grit out a close game. It's not always something that can be quantified by stats, but in high leverage, the Rays have been coming through, particularly on this road trip. They've been getting the hits with runners in scoring position. They've been getting the outs when the opponents have got runners in scoring position. They have developed this mindset as a team of knowing what to do in high leverage spots and not kind of caving to the pressure, which is something you'd want to see when we talk about the playoff picture, because that was something that they have struggled with the past 2 years. When the pressure is high in a playoff situation, they have seemed to crumble. They've seemed to panic. They have seemed to change their approach at the plate. Their at-bats have been rushed or they're pressing. They're not doing that right now. They're playing really calm, collected baseball as a whole unit. And like you said, we're not even in our final form yet.
The Rays won by 5 runs on the 11th in the second game of the Yankees series, the one game of the Yankees series that we won. Since that game, the Rays have won by 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run, 2 runs, 1 run, 1 run. So like that's the kind of games that we have been in. And you make a really, really good point about that's what we're going to be up against in the playoffs. And as much as we talk about the series all throughout the season, we discuss the games. At the end of the day, we all know what the goal is. We all know the goal is to get to the postseason and perform. And so this is what you want to see. If you are a Rays fan, you want to see this team perform in high leverage moments, because that's what we're going to be up against when we get to the postseason. And as much as it's maybe frustrating losing a game here or there, seeing those those performances in high leverage, like I even look at the last game of the Yankees series, right? Even though we didn't end up winning that game, there were not only opportunities, but the comeback did start. Like we didn't get the outing we would have liked from Armstrong to end that game. Or we might have won that game. And even in the extra inning game, we get to the 12th inning. So there was some not great performances to get there, but the bullpen was excellent. Didn't give up an earned run, obviously. And you wonder how different that game is if you insert a Brandon Lowe instead of, a Harold Ramirez in there. Like there are still improvements that can be made to even improve what we're seeing right now, which is really, really good. So this team is starting to play the baseball that we expected from them. This is the Rays baseball we were talking about when the season started. This is what we were expecting this team to look like. I would say over the last 2 to 3 weeks, we have started to see what this team can really look like, and we're not even in the final form yet.
Yeah, I would say the lineup is close to the final form.
Very. Yeah.
Tomorrow we could be running the optimal lineups, which is super great. I didn't think we'd get here. I didn't think this day would come. We might have a fully healthy position player as of tomorrow.
Yes.
We're playing a game right now. If anyone gets injured in these last 2 innings, I'm gonna jump off a bridge because we need to. We're this close, people.
As we always say, roster crunch is a societal construct. I think if somebody gets hurt in the last 2 innings of this game, any discussion of whether or not roster crunch is a societal construct could just be thrown out the window and be done with. Because it's clear that it is only a societal construct and it always works itself out. Because if nobody does get hurt, we're going to have some very interesting conversations to be had coming very soon, which we're going to get to some of those conversations in just a minute. Before we get there, any other thoughts on the Boston series before we talk about Toronto?
No, apart from, and this kind of leads into the Toronto series, our past 5 wins have all been save situations. Something I love is that a different guy got a save in all 5.
Wow.
So in the first game against the Red Sox, Adam got the save. Then in the third game of that series, it was Kevin Kelly that picked up the save.
Mm-hmm.
Erasmo picked up the save in the series finale because it wasn't supposed to be him. That's something I want to talk about. That's something I want to talk.
We do got to talk about that.
And then Fairbanks got the save in the opener against the Blue Jays, and then Clev picked up the save yesterday. So that's 5 straight appearances with different guys picking up the save for us.
The Kelly save
cool.
the Kelly save was interesting too because Pete pitched the 8th that game, which we haven't seen him do in a long time. So that was really interesting to see him pitch the 8th, probably because Adam wasn't available, and so they used Pete in that role and then let Kelly. And Kelly was pretty dominant. Pete looked dominant, then Kelly looked dominant. That was a fun one. Do we want to talk about what happened with our perhaps confusion around mound visits. You want to talk about
Yeah.
that real quick?
Yeah, I just want to mention it because, first of all, big shout out to Erasmo, who I have been actually thrilled with how he's contributed to this team since coming up. Sometimes he has been the mop-up guy and given up a bunch of runs, but he has got some big outs for us and like done some stuff that saved the bullpen. I think his time on the active roster is drawing to a close when Pepio returns at some point this week. So thank you for your service, Erasmo. I've always been an apologist for you, but also the timeout thing. First of all, good on Kevin Cash for taking accountability on that and kind of, I don't know if it was actually him or if it was Kyle Snyder that kind of just forgot, but he took accountability for that. And not all managers have been doing that lately. Did you see the one Ron Washington clip?
I did see the Ron Washington clip.
That's a bad look. That's a bad look, man.
Terrible look.
My manager could never.
No. Never.
Yeah. So whenever someone goes, "Oh, Kevin Cash," he's what a leader of men does. He takes accountability for his guys and will take, he'll never throw his players under the bus. He'll never publicly throw his coaching staff under the bus. If there's a mistake, he will take accountability for it. I don't even know if it was him. It could have been him, but I feel like it might not have been, but he's taken the blow for it because he backs his guys. So I think that's great.
Now, this is where I was going to ask you, because I'm still a little unclear on this mound visit rule, because I know there's 4 that you're allowed.
Mm-hmm.
The catcher and the pitcher meeting, that also counts as a mound visit.
Yes.
So there was a moment earlier in the game. I forget who was pitching. I think it might have been Clevenger was pitching, and I think it was, I don't remember if it was who was catching that game, but they had a moment where they came together on the mound, and I'm wondering if because there's a bit of umpire discretion to like deciding what counts as a mound visit. So I wonder if maybe the Rays staff didn't think that counted as a mound visit and just didn't check. It was a little unfortunate to look up at the scoreboard and see that it had been tracked up there and it said 0. Like, that's a bad look. But I do wonder if maybe they weren't thinking about it that way.
So the rule's actually quite forgiving. If you are out of mound visits and then if you have 0, you're allowed 1 more in the 9th inning.
Right.
So that didn't even come into a factor if they did one earlier. But then there's like an exploit here. I did some Googling about this. There's some exploits. So I bet. So obviously, if you're out with mound visits and you visit the mound, you have to take your pitcher out, right?
Right.
The first thing I thought was, oh no, I've faced 2 righties with my really good righty specialist, but then a really good lefty hitter's coming up. What if oh no, I'm out of mound visits and I come out, I have to take him out. Guess what? I'll bring in my loogie now. But turns out you're not allowed to do that.
Really?
Apparently, if your pitcher has not faced the 3 batter minimum or ended the inning, then they must be removed as soon as they've done that.
So they knew that people were going to be sneaky, and they were like, no, you can't be that sneaky.
So then, like, if your guys like walked the first 2 batters and you got no mound visits, you could just take a mound visit and he's allowed to face the next guy.
No matter what.
Yeah. He has to come out after that guy.
Right.
But like that's technically
if he's walked 2 guys, he might be coming out anyway. If he's walked the first 2 guys.
Yeah, if you walk the first 2 guys and you're like, oh, I need to get someone warming in the pen, you could do a mound visit for free and get some time for your guy in the bullpen.
Yeah.
So if anyone on the Rays coaching staff is listening to how to exploit the rules, hey, come listen to RBLR where we break the rules.
Well, because 2, like, imagine if you do that and then there's confusion. Because they're like, you're out of mound visits, and then you just buy yourself more time because people are arguing about it, and they're getting on the phone to New York. I mean, like, I'm kind of surprised the Rays didn't get Erasmo up faster when that whole situation started. Like, they kind of took him a little bit to get Erasmo up to like start warming. I was kind of like, if you think there's even a chance, he needs to be up and like going. But they I think maybe they were hoping that they would look good if they didn't get him up. I don't know, but it worked out. Erasmo came in clutch, so we don't have to worry about it. Cardiac Jason Adams strikes again. And but we got the win, so who cares?
Yeah, we got the win. Who cares? Thank you, Erasmo. You know what? Never in doubt. I trusted Erasmo there.
Never a doubt.
I did wake up because obviously I didn't watch this game being in the UK. This was late into the night. I did wake up to see like Ray's Twitter and because nowadays Twitter doesn't show you the tweets in chronological order, and I was like, what have I missed?
Yeah, that would have been a fun game to wake up to the post game of. That's for sure. All right,
Yeah.
so that's the Boston series. Toronto, we have started out winning the first two games. It is not looking super promising with the Rays coming up to bat in the top of the eighth, down 5-0 right now. But we never know. But even if we lose 5-0, what are your thoughts on the series?
Hey, a series win on the road against a divisional opponent. We love to see it. Again, two super close games decided by just a run. Tyler Alexander, amazing through 7 1/3, and then like got a couple of, he ended up having the runs charged to him at the end of the day, which is a shame. But he was outstanding, outdueled Chris Bassett, and then the bullpen did the rest, and then yesterday, again, it was close. It was a bit touch and go, but that was a resilient offense. Our biggest comeback win of the year so far, may I add. We've never overcome a 4-run deficit this year so far. So great ABs by the lineup against the bullpen, and then again the bullpen was nails. I thought Erasmo was good, and then Clevenger looked really good, and Adam did his usual Adam thing. Yeah, really, really happy with that. It's a shame we can't pick up the sweep, but to expect a sweep on the road is always a little ambitious. So I'm thrilled. I know the Blue Jays aren't playing great right now, so a series win on the road is good to capitalize on a team that is not doing well.
It's interesting that you like mentioning not doing well. I think this is a great series to see two teams going in opposite directions. You have a team that is getting healthy and starting to move upward and starting to get on a little bit of a hot streak. We're not necessarily a win streak, but winning series. This series win would be us winning. Let's see,
I think it's the 6th or 7th.
It's let's see. Series. I think we've won 4 out of the last 5 series now. That we've played. Yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 3. I can't count. Yep, 4 out of the last 5 series the Rays have won, which is pretty good, especially when you consider that of those series, none of them were played at home.
Right, and
all of them were on the road.
11 of our past 15 as well. This is some good baseball. Like, it doesn't always have to be a 10-game win streak to be a good run. Like, 8-2 is a good run. Going 11-4 is a good run. Going 20-7 is a good run. Like, if you can keep up that kind of, like, it doesn't have to be in streaks, but if you're taking 2 out of 3 here, 2 out of 3 here, maybe a sweep once every 5 series, then like that's a pace that's going to get you to the playoffs. And at the end of the day, we'll talk about the playoff picture in a moment, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what seed you come in at. It doesn't matter what momentum you have coming into it. As long as you're in the dance, then you get a roll of the dice.
Yeah, and when you look at not only just the fact that they are winning, but they went from Chicago, 1 day off, New York, then to Boston, then to Toronto with no days off in between those games, and yet and still only losing 1 series in there. Very, very impressive.
And we had to use the bullpen a lot, and we had to do a lot of juggling and inning management and even the lineup management as well, because we have not had a day off in quite some time. Or very few days off, and it's been tough in that respect, but we've managed to continue battle through it as well.
19 games will be played with 1 day off. That's where we're in the middle of. We had a day off before the Yankee series, and then we'll play through the Boston series at home. And in that series, 1 day off over 19 games. So that's a lot. They are going to start to get a few more days off. The schedule it gets maybe, I would say, I don't know if it gets easier, but we have a winnable homestand against Boston, the Royals, and the A's.
Don't write off those Royals, though.
I'm not right. The Royals are the ones I'm actually the most scared of. especially if we face
Seth,
Brady Singer. He's been very good. Seth Lugo's been very
Seth
good.
Lugo and Michael Waka, Rays legend.
Waka, yep, Rays legend. And then we go on the road to Baltimore after that. So interesting homestand. I think we could win all those series, but it's interesting to see how we'll do. But that's what's coming up. I think we're in a really good place right now. We have fully come out of the doom and gloom era of 2024 Rays baseball.
Yeah, right. We're not playing April ball anymore. We do this for a month. Every baseball team does this for a month. It's just it so happens that ours was in April. We were arguably worse in July last year, and that was with the super team of April. If we do a crazy run where we go 20-8 or whatever, then like, and we do that in August instead of April, it counts the same. So hopefully we've got a run like that in us. I really want us to win out these May series, because Red Sox, Royals, A's, you could win all of those series. I think the Royals are the toughest, like you said, but it is at home. So we have that going for us, because in June, we got the Orioles for 7 games, 7 of our first 9 games of the Orioles. Then we got the Cubs, the Braves, the Twins. They're all division leaders. Well, the Braves aren't a division leader, but they're a scary baseball team. So we've got a tough month of June ahead. So if we can get ourselves ready and put ourselves in a position to maybe lose some games by taking some games in May, that'd be super useful.
Yeah. If you have been, for the past month, waking up every day, looking at yourself in the mirror, looking at your wardrobe and saying, this is subpar. This is not what I expect over a full year of my fashion performance. I have a solution for you. It's shop.rblrsports.com, where you can get 10% off anything you'd ever want to buy for Tampa Bay sports with promo code FLAPPY, FLAPPY. You already know. It's the best teams in the country in 4 sports, and we've got the best gear for all those teams. Shop.rblrsports.com, 10% off everything there with promo code FLAPPY.
Have you heard the news? It's Hot Boy Summer.
Yes, we're coming into it.
Rapidly approaching. It's Hot Boy Summer, and I don't know if it's even possible to take part in Hot Boy Summer without some of the RBLR shop.com gear. That's what I provide.
The hot.
Real American
even
patriots
the temperature.
have been telling me that you gotta have the RBLR sports merch. Even I've got it, and I'm not even in America. I'm wearing it to the Paris Film Festival.
You go to the Paris Film Festival?
No, but
I was like, that's kind of cool. You got to tell me how it is. I've never been there.
Yeah, but I heard Anne Hathaway was considering wearing the Bring Back the Devil shirt to the Met Gala.
You heard it here first. You're here first is our RBL alarms and RBL lats of the week. That's what we're coming into next. So, Pat, who is your bat of the week?
My bat of the week goes by one Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz has been awesome. He has really started to put it together at the plate, and this week was no exception. He hit to a 333 average. He put up a 166 WRC plus. He drove in 5 runs, including a home run. So he's been on it, and he is so important as the leadoff guy for this team. And you notice it when he starts to hit, because it sets the lineup up beautifully. Just because even when he's not hitting home runs, just getting the leadoff guy on, setting the tone with a good AB, with a walk or a seeing eye ground ball single. When Yandy's on, it sets the tone for the whole offense. And I think he's almost kind of the anchor that everyone depends on to do well. And it's no coincidence that when he hits well, the whole lineup does well.
And I've said it many times, what Yandy provides is he immediately puts the pitcher on edge by providing that kind of performance at the top of the lineup. You cannot get set into your routine, into your pitch, sequencing, because you got to deal with him right away. And a lot of times the guy who starts off in the lineup is a guy that's maybe just kind of trying to get on base, just kind of slapping it, getting on base. Yandy's a power threat right off the front of the lineup. So that puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher to be ready to go from the first pitch. I love that they keep him in that leadoff spot. It's always appointment television.
Yeah, he's not your prototypical old school leadoff hitter, that's for sure. But he does the job, and I wouldn't want him anywhere else in the lineup at this point.
Agreed.
Who is your bat of the week?
My bat of the week is a guy that has been absent for a lot of this season, but is now back and is already having a massive impact on the team after only being back just for a little while. That's Josh Lowe. We missed him dearly while he was gone. The X-swag was lacking a little bit without him in the lineup. It has returned in force, along with a 154 WRC plus over the last week, 2 F4 being put up. A great week for him. And it's not even in like I sometimes give my bats of the weeks and arms of the week not only on just your week's performance, but as a little bit of a hey, let's appreciate what this person does for the team. And Josh Lowe coming back, since he came back to the team, we have the Rays as a team have risen almost, I believe it was almost 20 points in WRC plus since he returned to the lineup. We went from the 16th team in MLB and WRC plus to the 6th team in WRC plus since he has returned. So he has come back. He has brought the energy, he has brought that left-handed bat, and he's brought the Rays WRC plus up with him. Of course, Yandy and all the other guys are starting to hit better too, but I believe that a big part of what has been able to help them to kind of get back into their groove is the threat of Josh Lowe in that lineup. I believe he's a big part of the improvement this Rays offense has seen. Josh Lowe's my bat of the week.
Yeah, he's like, he brings something that other Rays hitters in this lineup don't bring, as being that kind of, especially without Bilal. You're not really scared of any of the lefty hitters on the Rays in terms of power threat. And Josh Lowe can take you deep. And he will take you deep. My favorite thing about Josh Lowe is that, like, there's nothing that's like eye-popping about him. He doesn't have Brandon Lau's power. He doesn't have Caballero's speed. He doesn't have series fielding. But he's like not bad at anything. In fact, he is good at pretty much all aspects of his game. And just having a guy that doesn't have a weakness on the team and is actively good at everything, even though he's not outstanding at everything. If you had 9 Josh Lowes, that's a playoff team.
He's not 80 grade in anything, but he's like 60 to 65 grade in everything. And that is so valuable. He's fun to watch too. He definitely does have swagger. He's fun to watch. And like you said, he does have that power. 2 home runs this week. He will take you deep.
He will take you deep. He's always a 20-20 guy. If he didn't get hurt, I would have put him on 30-30 watch.
Agreed.
All right, I'm gonna mirror it back to you and let you have a double pick. Who's your RB alarm of the week?
RB alarm of the week is a guy that I've talked about quite a few times over the past couple of weeks as a guy that has been providing a lot of value to this team. And this week in particular, it just kind of showed up on the leaderboard with him leading the Rays in F4 over the last week. That's Garrett Cleavinger. He's been kind of the stopper in place of Jason Adam, who has been the closer with Pete Fairbanks being hurt. It's been great to see Pete back. He also had a fantastic week this week. But in the absence of Pete Fairbanks, you've had to put Jason Adam at the back end of the bullpen, and Garrett Cleavinger has stepped into that stopper role fantastically. He's tied with Jason Adam for 4 games pitched over this week, which is tied for the most. He has a save this week. No runs allowed. Negative FIP on the week. Just pure domination every time he's out there. I think he only had 1 walk all week long. He's been excellent. He is the class of the Rays bullpen, along with Adam and Fairbanks. They are so locked in the back end of that bullpen. When they are all healthy, they are so dangerous, and we have a really dangerous bullpen with all of them healthy. Garrett Cleavinger is my arm of the week.
I love that pick because I almost took Clev as my arm of the week as well. I just want to, guys will see this and say, hell yeah. And by this, I mean Garrett Cleavinger's baseball savant page, because he has red in everything. He has 100th percentile average exit velocity allowed. 100 percentile. He is the best
100th percentile
hard hit suppressor in the league. His hard hit percentage is 98th percentile. His strikeout percentage is 98th percentile. His expected batting average 95th percentile. Barrel percentage 92nd percentile. Whiff percentage 93rd percentile. Like, it's just red everywhere. And he's part of what the Rays do when we put together a bullpen. Or when I say we, I mean the Rays front office. They will never let you see the same look and same Arsenal twice. They will go after guys that have weird release points. They will go after guys that offer a pitch that has a style of movement that no other arm can offer, whether it's extreme horizontal or extreme vertical break or lack of, like Colin Poche's fastball. Like, they'll just never let you get comfortable. And they, we always talk about the clock graphic that they used in the playoffs a few years back, but that's what the Rays do. They know that these guys are going to be in for an inning. Let's make sure that you have a different look every single inning you come to bat, so you can never get comfortable. And that's part of their roster construction philosophy. Garrett Cleavinger has a super weird delivery. He is super funky, hides the baseball for a really long time, has a low release point, is super hard to pick up, especially if you're a left-hander, but he's also good against right-handers as well. He is disgusting, and the only thing that can scare you with him is if he beats himself with the walks, which he did in his first couple outings of the year. But when he's locked in, he's untouchable, genuinely untouchable.
Yeah, it's funny. The only blemish on his Baseball Savant page, if you look over there, is his walk percentage and his extension. But who cares? The walk rate is really, really high, but that's only because of a couple of bad starts to begin the year. I guarantee you that we are going to see that climb back down or up. I guess the slider will go up, the percentage will go down as the year goes on and he gets more comfortable. He's been excellent. He's been one of the classes of the Rays bullpen. Pat, who is your arm of the week?
My arm of the week goes for a shout-out individual performance as opposed to a collection over the week, and that is lefty Tyler Alexander. Tyler Alexander was not great against the Yankees on Sunday, but if we pretend that didn't happen, he did something incredible against the Blue Jays on Friday night, and that was take a perfect game into the 8th inning. He went 7 1/3 perfect before giving up a base hit. Unfortunately, he was close. He was just 5 outs away, but an absolutely outstanding performance. I know we were all saying that Zach Littell's the most likely to be the next Rays complete game shutout guy, no-hitter guy, but Tyler Alexander was like, hold my beer.
He gave it a run.
Yeah, and in the end, he did get tagged for 3 runs, but that's just because the base runners that he put on ended up scoring because Emrod couldn't strand him. But that's still an outstanding start. And with a taxed bullpen that we've had in terms of energy levels and the amount of times where we go, well, we've got no one available, so we're giving it to Erasmo. Over 7 innings start from a guy at the back end of your rotation is so valuable. And to be almost perfect is just like a cherry on the top. And it's always appointment viewing when someone is perfect or hasn't allowed a hit through the 5th or 6th. You're always like, oh, hold on, this is appointment viewing. And it was just a really outstanding performance. Well done to Tyler Alexander. I think he might not be the first person in this Rays team to lose his rotation spot now.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to watch. Outside of the Rays winning a World Series, watching a Rays pitcher pitch a perfect game is one of the things I would love to see the most out of anything. So I hope to see it one day. I thought maybe we had a chance. I thought it just kind of felt like maybe it was going the right way for a little bit there, but it didn't. That's okay. I thought that when he kind of had some long at-bats I believe it was the 7th, he had some really long at-bats. I thought maybe that was kind of going to be the end of it. He lost a little steam there. But he pitched super well. It was super fun to watch. I hope that maybe we'll see that. And I guess that kind of takes us to our next topic here is the roster situation, because we expect to add 2 guys that are impact players back to the roster tomorrow, barring any nonsense. And that is Brandon Lowe and Ryan Pepio are both supposed to be back on the roster. With both those guys coming back on, who do you expect to go off?
All right. So I think with Pepio, I think it's pretty easy that you just remove Erasmo from the
Yeah.
roster and just plunk him in AAA for a bit, just because I don't think I think that's just Erasmo's the 13th pitcher in the spot. So I would move Pepio in, Erasmo out. Thank you for your service. I don't know if he has options or if we'd have to DFA him. That would be unfortunate. But if he does get DFA'd, I don't see he could just go. I'll take the outright because I like being here. That's a total possibility. The hard one is Brandon Lowe because our position player core, there's no obvious easy, we just sent him down, like with Nico Goodrum and Austin Shenton, where you go, you just sent him down and it's fine. Now we're going to have to either send down a guy that's been performing, like a Palacios or a DeLuca or someone like that, or you're going to have to DFA someone like Harold. I don't know. Are you ready to give up on Harold Ramirez?
So the thing that's tricky about it, right, is Palacios has been playing well. Aranda just got up and he's playing well. The only other guy that like you could maybe even think about moving is Rosie, but he's the only other guy that plays shortstop on the roster, so you can't move him. So that really brings you back down to just Harold, Aranda, and Palacios. I could see a world in which Palacios goes down. I think if they don't find a trade partner for Harold by tomorrow, I could see a world in which Palacios goes down for a little bit and just kind of is like, hey, you're doing great, kid. Just keep doing your thing down in AAA. You'll be back in a minute. Just go hang out down there for it. Would be a downer. It would be such a vibe
killer. Cruel world when a guy who's played 6 weeks of baseball to a 346, what is it, like a 360 on base percentage, and is probably like currently in your top 5 most productive hitters, gets sent down. I don't think that's a just world. Don't look now. Palacios just singled. Before that, Paredes hit a home run to left field. Don't panic. It's now 5-2. The Rays only have 1 out left, but they put together a couple of runs and are still going. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, anyway. I would feel rotten on Palacios if he went down. I'd be upset, and I would rather we lose Harold for nothing, just because he's not performed that well this season, and I think it's about that time where we go. Who does he provide more value than on the position player side of the roster? I don't think there's anyone.
No,
because he can't play good enough defense.
No, and I think it's really just a matter of time for him. There's a chance that when he was taken out of the game the other night, that was the last we see of Harold in a Rays uniform. It's possible. It would be unfortunate because he's provided some great moments, but unfortunately, I think it may be time. When we look at Pepio coming back, and it's pretty obvious for him to bump down Erasmo just on the roster, but in the rotation, what do you think the move is there?
Savali moves to the pen.
He wasn't that bad today. He pitched into the 6th. The runs the runs end up getting charged to him that he let on. I think they were there. So I was a little surprised they let him back out there for the 6th. His pitch count was like not super high, but it was high enough. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Alexander makes more sense to go to the bullpen because he's done it more recently. I don't know they want to just give up on Savali, because I think Alexander kind of came into the year with the idea this was going to be his role all along, and he's been starting. I don't know what the mindset would be to take Savali out. I don't know if maybe that's the right move, but I would be surprised if they move Savali to the bullpen, just me personally.
I mean, it depends how ruthless of a meritocracy this Rays team wants to operate as, because if it is a meritocracy, Alexander's pitched really well his past few outings apart from that game against the Yankees.
Yeah, he has.
And surely that's what you want in your team over a guy that's struggled, because at the end of the day, there's been innings where he's looked really good, and when it comes undone for Savali, it comes undone really fast.
Yeah. Very Blake Snell-esque.
Yeah, but without the velo to kind of fastball his way out of it.
Yeah.
because he can't rely on his fastball, because he's a kitchen sink guy, right? He's like you'll throw a bit of everything, but none of the pitches are like great, like reliable enough of an out pitch to be like, oh, if I get in trouble, I just lean on this.
Right.
And I think that goes into the struggles with like game calling for him and all that kind of stuff as well. I was the Savali defender, and I now I wonder, it could be exactly as you say, that he's a starter. Alexander can be a swingman, so they'll let him be a swingman. But how much longer does he have left before you go, your time's up?
Well, and especially when you think about Boz eventually getting back healthy, I don't know that Savali survives in the rotation once Boz is healthy. If he does happen to make it through Pepio coming back with Bradley also up there, I do think when Boz is healthy, we do see Savali to the bullpen at that point, or a trade maybe. I think they'll hang on to him, but I do think he can move to the bullpen. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. And my prediction right now, I'll let you give your prediction too. My prediction right now is Erasmo down, Palacios down, Alexander to the bullpen. What's your prediction?
Erasmo down, Harold DFA, and then I've come around to your way of thinking. I'm going to say Alexander to the bullpen, but I'm cross about it. I don't see a world, like I can't fathom Palacios going down. I think that would suck, especially because of the reports of his, how much he's meant to this clubhouse as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It would be tough. And I mean, it's also possible Aranda could go down. Even though he just came up, they could send him back down.
Is there rules? Does he have to be up for a certain amount of time before he can go back down?
That I actually don't know.
I think he's got to be up for 15 days before he can be sent back down.
You might be right.
The old Louis Head rule.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Speaking of,
go ahead.
Well, I want to shift the conversation. Rene Pinto's mashing in AAA.
Yes.
He is now eligible to be called back up. Do you see a world where we go, right, Alex Jackson sucks with the bat, actually? Should we just bring Pinto back up?
I would like to see that. I would like to see that be the one other move tomorrow, actually. Would love to see Jackson down, Pinto up. Not really sure what's going on there, to be totally honest with you. It's been very strange watching what's going on with Pinto. Don't really know. But I would love to see that switch, because Alex Jackson just looks lost at the plate every time he's up there, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's not. Lost. And Pinto's not hurt. He's playing, and he's playing well.
He's playing well. He's hitting bombs.
If he's not up when we talk next week, I think we got to spend a good.
We got to have a conversation. This we'll put a pin in this next week. If I agree, if Pinto is not with the major league team by next time we speak, we'll have to talk about it with you guys, because that would be very concerning to me.
Do you know what I'd love? I'd love you guys to weigh in on the comments on what you think that might be.
What do you think is going on with Rene Pinto?
Tweet us.
Now? And who would you make those moves for? If we're bringing in Brandon Lowe, we're bringing up Rene, or we're bringing up Pepio. Who are you taking? Who are you moving down? Who are you putting in the bullpen? Let us know in the comments. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around and watching the show with us. We really appreciate having you guys through on the show. If you would give us a like, if you liked what you saw today, if this was your first time, thanks for watching us, giving us a like. If you come back here and you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you guys coming and sticking around with us. Hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on whatever social media channel you're watching us on, or that you're seeing that we have posted about having a podcast on, so that you get notifications when we go live, things like that. We've done that a couple of times. We're going to keep doing it. So make sure you follow us on all the socials so you know when we're going live, and give us a little bit of your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys think the Rays are going to do with these moves. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, and it's my birthday on Wednesday, so tweet at Depressed Rays. Go, happy birthday, praise be to the sky, Ray.
Happy birthday to Pat, coming on Wednesday.
Exactly. So we're going to say see you. I heard the outro music. I thought we had time left.
Nope, we're out of time. Raise up.
We're out of time. Raise up.
Wait, are we not out of time?
What?
Nope, it was a psych. What you got, Pat? Before the music comes back.
I was just gonna say, as a moment of optimism, despite how sticky the Rays season has been so far, we're actually, if the season ended today, we're tied for a playoff spot. How about that?
We are tied for a playoff spot. We can work our way up. It's going to be tough. The Yankees have had a really hot start to the season. We may see them come back down at some point, just because it's hard to imagine they're going to play at this level all season long. They've been really, really good. Maybe they will play at that level all season long, but the Rays are also playing better. So we'll see. I'm very curious to see the next series between the Yankees and the Rays. I think it's going to be a good series whenever we play them again next. And we're getting the Orioles soon. Maybe we have an opportunity to bring them back down to us. We're not that far off of them. We could bring them back down to us pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the goal is to get there, and we're looking right now. We're right there. We're right there. If the Twins could lose today and keep us tied, that'd be useful. And will the Royals hold on to that spot all season? I don't know.
Probably not.
And the Astros got off to a slow start, so they're still kind of in the rear view. They're coming though. They are coming. So I think the Rays are right in the thick of it, and if we can grab one of those wildcard spots, then that's all we need, and that'll be 6 in a row. Despite what everyone said, saying this being a transition year, we could still snag a wildcard spot and 6 playoff spots in a row. How many teams have done that? The Dodgers, the Braves. That's about it.
Not many, and the Rays, I think, will be adding their name to that list very soon.
Absolutely. All right, I will now let you play the outro music. Eureka.
Oh boy. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming, watching us. We appreciate all of you. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. So we love having you guys around every single week. And for now, raise up.
Raise up.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.